Now we're getting down to the legs. We have the front of the legs. This is pretty obvious, hopefully. This long muscle going from the lateral side all the way over to the medial side is your sartorius over here, right? That's called the Taylor's muscle. It allows you to kind of sit cross-legged, pull your leg up in a cross-legged position. And then you have your quads, right? 3 of them, which you have to know. Remember your quads. And remembering these, you want to remember like a little stupid saying, right? Your quads equals your rectus femoris, right, on your femur, and your vasti muscles. Right? And the vasti muscles will be your vastus medialis and your vastus lateralis. And then you have one underneath it. Don't worry about it. That's your quads on the front of your leg, right? Rectus femoris is always, it's got that tendon going down. Remember, it's a bipennate muscle. So if you could recognize that, then you know you're looking at the rectus femoris. And obviously, the medialis is going to be on this side. Lateralis is going to be over here, sitting right underneath the IT band. Here, this is a little bit more obvious that rectus femoris has that long tendon running down the middle because it's a bipennate muscle. And then the vastus lateralis, here's the IT band running right underneath the IT band, vastus medialis on the medial side. And then we get down to the front of the leg, and over here is your tibia bone. So this is your tibialis anterior muscle on the front of the leg, right next to the tibia. Right next to the tibialis anterior is your extensor digitorum longus, right? See how it goes down just like your extensor digitorum on your hand? Over there, right? That's the one right next to your tibialis anterior. That's going to dorsiflex, or we're going to call this an extension movement, really dorsiflex at the ankle. Both of these do, because they're on the front of the leg. That's more of an extension movement. All right, here's another model, the same stuff, front of the leg, rectus femoris, right? Sartorius, going down the length right here, right next, I don't ask about the iliopsoas or the pectineus, but one of the most medial muscles they see coming off here, like at an angle when your adductor muscles, is your adductor longus. Right, I'm giving you the gracilis right here. The gracilis is the most medial muscle. Right next to it is the adductor longus. And then this one over here is your sartorius. Going across the back right here. And then we have your quad muscles, right? Your rectus femoris and your vastus, medialis and lateralis. This says your iliopsoas. This is your iliacus up here in your pelvic cavity. This muscle going into your IT band. You have 2 muscles going into your IT band. One is the gluteus maximus. This one is the tensor fasciae latae, right? Sounding like a Starbucks drink. Rectus femoris, vastus lateralis, vastus medialis. Okay, now we're looking at the back, right? You have your gluteus maximus, right? That's your dead giveaway. Hopefully, you're looking at the back of somebody right here. And just like on the front, what did we have? We had the rectus femoris and your vastus for your quads. On the back, we have your hamstrings, which was your biceps femoris, right, on the back, and your, I call them the semi-muscles, right, your semi-tendinous, that's this one, right over here, and then underneath, not being pointed to, is the semi-membranous. So your biceps femoris and your semi-muscles, right? your rectus femoris, your vastus, biceps femoris, and your semis. Remember your biceps, what does your biceps do up on your arm? It flexes at the elbow. What does your biceps femoris do down here? It flexes at the knee. Okay, that's one way to remember the action and kind of orient yourself, just a quick way. The other thing about this is stupid way, speaking of stupid ways, BLT, biceps, lateral to tendinous, semi-tendinous, right? Bicep is this, so this is the bicep, lateral to it. If you want to remember these two, because they look alike, you just got to remember biceps is the lateral one. And same thing, we're just looking at the back right here. Here's the lateral one. What is it? Your biceps femoris, right? What is the medial one? Semi-tendinous, right? The semi-membranous is sitting deep to it. I don't know if I have any good pictures of it, but the other muscle up here, right, which is, you can see from the posterior side, is your adductor magnus, right? One of your adductor muscles. Again, the most medial muscle is your gracilis here. This is actually, I shouldn't have put this, but that's the end of the sartorius. It would be mean if I actually asked this. So don't worry about that one. All right, now we're looking from what side? Is this the medial or the lateral side?
Medial,
Right, because you don't have the, what don't you see right here?
the IT band.
IT band, right? That's your first clue. Immediately think, all right, what am I going to see on my medial, right? All those adductor muscles. Right, here's the adductor longus on the front. And what's on the back right here, your adductor magnus, right? On either side of the what? Gracilis, right? That's the most medial muscle running down the middle right here. And then this over here straps around the front. That's your sartorius. And I wouldn't ask this one either. That would be mean because it's kind of hard to tell. But the most medial one is your gracilis. And then this is your vastus medialis. Okay, so that's the medial side. Man, this is the, another same thing, right down the middle. Gracilis. What's on the front here? Adductor longus. Here's your sartorius. Right, that's going to go from the lateral to the medial side. And then again, your vastus medialis, because we're looking at the medial side. Again, very common mistake. Right, so here's your gastrocnemius, right? Or gastrocnemius, something like that. It inserts into your Achilles tendon or your calcanean tendon. Something like that, or your Achilles heel. So does the soleus, which is sitting underneath it, right? That's a common insertion point for that. Okay, now here again, we're going to look at the lateral side of the leg. You can tell by your pinky toe over here. And this one, you want to point out that this is your fib right over here, because remember your fibula is going down the lateral side. So what's running down the fibula bone, right? Your common, your peroneus or your fibularis, common fibular, the fibularis muscle, right? Fibularis longus, sorry. Right, running down here. And that kind of goes around over here. And the next muscle over that, again, going over here, is your extensor digitorum longus, going down to the tendons right here. So when you're going by the legs, like that front one, remember, was the tibularis anterior. Next one over was the extensor digitorum longus. And then you had your fibularis longus running down the fibula. This one, it's a little weird, but it's more on the back of the leg, right? Since it goes around here, when it contracts, it's going to pull this back into that plantar flexion movement. So that would be a flexion movement. That would be the action of that. Whereas this one, it's going to move. It's going to make this dorsiflexion or extension movement. And then on the back of your leg, you got your soleus muscle and your gastrocnemius. Gastrocnemius. And these would be both plantar flexors or flexors. They also, since they start up here, if you're standing with your feet ground, you could also flex the knee with these because they're on the back right there. Down here, here's the bottom of the leg from the posterior view, your gastrocnemius, your two hamstring muscles on the back, right? So you can tell it's kind of a weird orientation. Here's the buttocks, right? Your gluteus maximus, right? That would be the butt cheek over there. So this would be the medial side. That would make this the lateral side. What's on the lateral side? Your biceps femoris. And then on the medial side, your semitendinous. Another weird view. Imagine if I put it in a different orientation. Look for the orientation of the gluteus maximus. And here's some other models, right? Here's the tibia. So that's the tibialis anterior. Extensor digitorum longus. Right there. And there is your pointing out fibularis over there. And then from the side view, fibularis longus over here, gastrocnemius, soleus, and your calcanean tendon over here, which these both insert onto. Another view by gastrocnemius. I don't ask you to distinguish these two. And then your calcanean tendon. That will do it for all those models.